This is the story of our legacy. Bank de Binary was founded in 2009 out of a small office in New York by 4 brokers determined to make a difference in the financial markets. They drew on their wealth of experience, ambition, and financial talent and developed Bank de Binary into the leading company in binary options. Today, Bank de Binary is the first licensed broker focused solely on binary options. Chief Executive Officer Oren Laurent is often asked about the secret to the success of Bank de Binary. His answer is that it is based on the company's people.
Our first priority has always been the customer. Being that, our customer service is par none, is really par none. Our brokers are the best in the industry, by far. Our recruiting process is very stringent. We know what we're looking for. We welcome anybody who is up to the challenge to go through our so-called boot camp for brokers. And we've done it here in Cyprus all over again. So we've implemented those same values we started off with, yes, but we refined them when we came here to Cyprus. So if you look literally behind me or to the sides, you will see the best brokers in the industry right now helping clients achieve their financial goals.
The world needed a trading revolution after traditional investments proved to have limited and unstable returns during the financial crisis in the US and EU.
In 2009, we were a group of brokers that had taken kind of a wider scope on the financial crisis. And we started looking for ways to simplify trading for the mass public. We found a financial product which we could simplify, explain to everyone, and have anyone trading in a matter of minutes. And that's what brought us to the point we are today.
Binary options are a safer way to trade assets like currencies or commodities. Also called all-or-nothing options or digital options, profits or losses are based on whether an underlying asset will go up or down. This new financial instrument has simplified trading to the extent that anyone can understand and use the advanced trading platform on Bank de Binary's website. We have offices in 4 countries and our European headquarters is Limassol, Cyprus. Cyprus is ideal as a strategic location for marketing to the EU and as a business center. CySec has just started licensing binary options firms, which is another important reason we have opened an office here. We are extremely proud to be the first binary options broker to be licensed by CySec. Cyprus is a world-renowned financial services center that has developed infrastructure that is business-friendly. We trust Cyprus to be the best place to develop our growing company. The licensing of Bank de Binary in Cyprus is a remarkable milestone that we are celebrating today. It means more benefits and protection for traders and binary options brokers. We believe that this regulation will benefit Cyprus's economy very strongly as more binary options brokers apply for regulation and start hiring more staff and investing in the island. By the end of 2013, we expect to reach the 500,000 mark on our client list. We will concentrate and develop our presence in European, Middle East and Asian markets. Our immediate focus is on educating and informing our clients about trading binary options. We value our trading clients very highly and offer them many levels of support, from demo accounts for the learner all the way to concierge service in our VIP Lions Club. We are proud to have won prestigious awards for Best Customer Service, Best Broker, and Platform of the Year, to name a few. Bank2 Binary is a World Finance 100 awarded company. Bank2 Binary offers over 90 assets in commodities, currencies, indices and stocks. Bank2 Binary clients can trade over 90 assets on the most advanced trading platforms, including the Option Builder, One Touch, 60 Seconds and Binary Meta.
In an economic downturn, the old way to trade, buying an asset and hoping its price goes up, just doesn't work. Enter binary options, the compelling alternative to spread betting that allows you to make money in both rising and falling markets. Welcome to binary options for beginners.
The binary options industry is still at the beginning of its history and is growing rapidly as traders enthusiastically embrace this very simple trading instrument. Regulation of the industry is also at the very beginning. The Cyprus Securities and Exchange Commission, or CySEC, is the first international regulator to cover binary options in full. At the beginning of 2013, Bank2 Binary became the first EU-licensed binary options broker under the EU's Markets in Financial Instruments Directive. To trade binary options, traders simply decide on a price direction based on their research and market experience. There are two choices, thus the term binary. Traders need to decide whether the price on an asset will go up or down. They then use the trading software provided to place their transaction.
Okay, an FRO in our industry means fixed return option. The biggest benefit to that is you have quantifiable risk and reward. Okay, so risk reward is the biggest concern to any trader. In other trading environments, it's a variable. You can lose more than you put in, and you can make more, obviously, than you intended. You know, so it's either way. The beauty of what we do is it's simple. You know your risk reward as soon as you enter into the trade. You cannot lose more than you're prepared to stake, and equally, you know exactly what you will win, between 70 and 90% if you're successful.
Since their regulation by the US Securities and Exchange Commission in 2008, binary options have become the fastest growing way for investors to profit from their knowledge of the economic events that move the markets.
The fundamental indicators that I'll use for a successful trade for the euro-dollar will be retail sales, unemployment changing rate, and home sales. Home sales is measuring the number of sold properties during the previous month, excluding new construction and new build properties. Looking at home sales in a positive view means that the more people buying properties means the more people now buying equipment for their home. White goods, new furniture, electronic goods, etc., which is now creating a ripple effect in the markets, because now retail sales are going up because there's more people providing goods for new homeowners. Also now banks are now lending, which means third-party brokers, etc., are now getting paid for transaction. Now, on a very positive move for home sales means euro-dollar down on a trade, which is a winning trade.
There are 4 simple steps to trading binary options. Let's take event trading, for example, as it's very popular in binary options. So let's say, hypothetically speaking, Apple will launch the new iPhone 6. You know that everybody will focus on Apple. People will invest in Apple and buy their shares. So the increasing demand and the limited supply will obviously mean that the existing shares will increase in value. So you knowing this, you will go to the platform, you'll choose Apple from the drop-down list, click up, enter your investment amount, approve your trade, and sit back and wait to be in the money.
Let me show you how a recent market event influences binary options trading. Now, a very good example is Mario Draghi's speech. Mario Draghi, the president of the European Central Bank, this is a very good example, by the way. Every time he talks and every time he gives impulses towards the market regarding the euro region, the price of the euro and the rates of the euro rises or decreases according to the impulses and the remarks and comments that he gives. Now, whilst he was speaking, his exact words drove the euro-USD currency pair down. In this case, he stuck to his view that the euro, and I'm quoting what he's saying, that the euro region will gradually recover later this year. Now, this was said in direct contrast to many EU officials' expectancy, as many already trimmed their economic forecasts for later on that year, and were considering also possible interest rate cuts. Now, the ECB kept its benchmark interest rate at a record low of 0.75%, thus improving the liquidity in the euro region, hence also making lending more attractive. Now, another thing was, during the speech, we also had short-term rises on the DAX in Frankfurt. We saw a short rise in the FTSE 100 in London, the CAC in France, as well as the IBEX in Spain. Now, this is just an example of obtaining information from a relevant market event, using that information and implementing it directly onto the binary options platform.
You're standing by to bring you the very latest jobs numbers.
I'm looking negative. I mean, it doesn't really matter for us, but still. For me to be right on the prediction matters. 3, 2, 1 second. Breaking news.
The change in non-farm payrolls expected to be up 190,000. That's a headline number.
Big
Peter?
miss, Betty. Up 88,000 in the month of March, a much smaller number than in our survey.
It's below the expectation. Both of them. Euro US dollar up, gold up. Euro USD up, gold up. These are the first 2 trades that we're placing for this particular moment in time.
I want to know expiry. I want to know what your dollar is flying high. It hasn't climbed that much. It's going to climb more.
We will go for much larger end-of-day trades. We will go for thousands of dollars of trades on the US dollar and everything connected to it, probably including gold. But those will be the end-of-day trades, or probably later expiries for a later moment in time. Look at that gold go up.
On the currency side, again, some strength for the euro here at 1.3014 is the last trade there. And we'll finish up on commodities, Betty. Crude, $92 per barrel. Gold, now $15.71 per ounce, Betty.
With inbuilt risk management and predetermined returns, trading binary options couldn't be simpler. Once you've analysed an economic event and determined which asset will be affected, simply click up or down. And an expiry time, enter the amount you wish to invest, then click apply. It's as easy as that. Gold, the commodity everybody wants to own. A safe haven for investors when confidence in the markets is low. Gold is closely correlated with other assets like oil and the dollar, and that makes it the perfect commodity to trade as a binary option. Welcome to Binary Options for Beginners.
Like oil, gold is priced in US dollars. So the first thing you have to remember when trading gold is that it's very closely correlated with the price of the dollar. It's an inverse relationship, meaning that if the dollar goes up, gold goes down. It used to be that the euro and gold moved together. If one went up, the other followed. That correlation has totally fallen apart after the European debt crisis since 2010. When Europe finally pulls through and the problem of sovereign debt is resolved, I definitely expect this relationship to re-emerge.
The prices of gold and the US dollar move in opposite directions. When you see one move, be ready to trade the other.
Traders use gold as a hedge against inflation. If the US economy is underperforming and the dollar is weak, the market almost invariably turns to gold. It's a very predictable safe haven for risk-adverse investors. So if you see the dollar taking a big hit, the smart move is to place a call option on gold. The economies of gold-producing countries like Australia and Canada obviously do really well when the price of gold goes up. Australia exports around 14 billion worth of gold every year. The US produces a similar amount. So a rising gold price won't help you with the Australian-American dollar currency pair. They'll just cancel each other out. A down option on the Euro-Aussie dollar, on the other hand, is a very smart trade. Think of the Swiss franc the same way you think about US Treasury bonds. It's another safe haven asset for investors. The Swiss franc is backed by gold, around 25% give or take. So when gold goes up, the Swiss franc goes up, and vice versa. It behaves just like the euro used to before the crisis.
Gold has a fixed inherent value. It doesn't rust, it doesn't tarnish, and that's why people are drawn to it in an economic downturn. Oil, the most heavily traded commodity in the world. It drives industry, and industry drives economies. But before you place a binary option on oil, first you have to understand the relationships oil has with other assets. Welcome to Binary Options for Beginners.
Take the European Central Bank as an example. A rising price of oil could be taken as a sign of inflation by the ECB. Increased inflation leads to higher interest rates, and higher interest rates make for a more attractive environment for investment in the Eurozone. There's a direct link between the price of oil and the strength in the currencies of oil producing nations like Canada, Mexico, and Norway. If oil's going up, and if it's a long-term trend rather than a blimp, then there's more money to be made with binary options on a rising Canadian dollar, Mexican peso, and Norwegian krone.
The price of oil and the US dollar have been closely linked since the early 70s. To trade oil, you have to know what's happening with the dollar.
One of the ways a high oil price leads to a weaker dollar is what's known as the petrodollar recycling effect. In essence, oil-producing nations like Mexico and Saudi Arabia receive their oil revenue in dollars. They then use these dollars, selling them effectively, to buy European luxury goods. So a high oil price is bad for the dollar, but great for the euro. Because oil is denominated in US dollars, there is a phenomenon called the invoice effect. What this means is that when the US dollar declines in value relative to other currencies, oil-producing nations like Mexico and Norway increase the price of oil to compensate for the reduced value of the dollar. When the dollar's down, oil should go up. It's a great trade. Countries like Japan and China do not do well when the price of oil is high. Asian economies are net importers of oil, meaning that they have to pay more for it when the price goes up. Again, if a rising oil price is sustained, if it's a long-term trend, it's reasonable to assume that the yen will take a hit.
To profit from oil, the commodity that fuels the global economy, you have to stay abreast of the news coming out of oil-producing nations, anticipate geopolitical events, and monitor correlated assets. Trading currencies as binary options is simple. You pick a pair, analyze the data, and decide whether it will go up or down. But finding winning strategies takes time and practice. Welcome to Binary Options for Beginners.
All currencies are traded in pairs, be it the euro-US dollar pair, the US dollar and the yen, the British pound and the US dollar. If one currency in a pair strengthens, that means that the other, by definition, weakens relative to it. The main difference between traditional forex trading and binary options is the spread. Say you want to bet on a rising euro-US dollar. In forex, the spread means you have to pay above the odds to buy a currency pair and sell it below the true market value when you want to exit the trade. At Bank to Binary, you enter and exit your trades at the price set by Reuters. Euro-US dollar is easily the most traded pair in the currency market. Individually, the currencies represent the two largest economic blocs, and most of their major financial institutions have offices in both Europe and the States. These companies are constantly buying and selling the euro-US dollar to hedge against exchange rate risks, and this gives the euro-US dollar currency pair a high degree of liquidity.
The price of currency pairs usually moves following the release of important economic data. Watch out for unemployment figures, elections and changes in monetary policy.
If you want to trade currency pairs as binary options, especially if you are new to the markets, you should stick to the 5 economic indicators: American non-farm payroll, FOMC interest rate decisions, trade balances, consumer price indices, and retail sales figures. If any of these are substantially above or below expectations, currencies move very quickly. Some currency pairs like the Euro-British pound, the New Zealand and American dollars, the Euro-Swiss franc show relatively little movement over any given day, approximately 100 to 140 pips perhaps. The most volatile pairs are the British pound, Australian dollar and the Euro New Zealand dollar, and the British pound yen. They can range by 400 pips or more. There is money to be made on all of these currency pairs, but you have to be aware of their maximum trading ranges.
To profit from currencies, you have to stay ahead of the pack and make the right trades at the right time. Be ready for the economic data releases, determine a probable outcome, and act swiftly. Trading commodities as binary options couldn't be easier. With 24-hour access to breaking global news, predicting a change in the price of commodities is probably the simplest way for new binary option traders to make money in the markets. Welcome to Binary Options for Beginners.
My number one tip for trading commodities, same as trading everything else. Know your asset. Know what influences its price, keep an eye on the news, and place binary options on commodities only when your decisions are backed by firm data. In binary options, the most heavily traded commodities are gold and oil. Commodities like oil are attractive to traders, particularly novice traders, because the events that affect their prices are almost constantly in the news. Events such as the threat of war or changes of government in oil-producing nations, disruptions to pipelines, increased-decreased manufacturing output in major economies all have a big effect on the supply and demand curve and therefore the price of oil.
Some commodities have strong links to currency prices. Before you enter a position on commodities, be sure to take a look at the currency markets.
Certain commodities are correlated with other assets, particularly currencies. Canada is one of the biggest exporters of oil to the US. So if oil is going up, you can place a binary option on the USD Canadian dollar to go down. Same goes for the Australian dollar and for gold. Australia is the world's 3rd biggest exporter of gold, so a rising gold price has a predictably positive impact on the Australian dollar. Because many commodities are denominated in US dollars, a weaker dollar drives up demand and therefore drives up the price of oil. A binary options trader who understands this connection is in a position to profit. But who else does well when the price of oil goes up? Companies like Chevron and ExxonMobil. So an up binary option on the share price of oil companies is an excellent correlated trade. The best way to start trading commodities in binary options is to practice. Open a demo account and you follow the news. See if you can start making the connections. When you are confident in your ability to spot a cause and its effect on the commodity price, then you can start thinking about using your real live money account.
To profit from commodities, you have to follow world events and understand the butterfly effect they have on the price of assets like gold, oil, and corn. Trading commodities as binary options couldn't be easier. With 24-hour access to breaking global news, predicting a change in the price of commodities is probably the simplest way for new binary option traders to make money in the markets. Welcome to Binary Options for Beginners.
My number one tip for trading commodities, same as trading everything else. Know your asset. Know what influences its price, keep an eye on the news, and place binary options on commodities only when your decisions are backed by firm data. In binary options, the most heavily traded commodities are gold and oil. Commodities like oil are attractive to traders, particularly novice traders, because the events that affect their prices are almost constantly in the news. Events such as the threat of war or changes of government in oil-producing nations, disruptions to pipelines, decreased manufacturing output in major economies all have a big effect on the supply and demand curve and therefore the price of oil.
Some commodities have strong links to currency prices. Before you enter a position on commodities, be sure to take a look at the currency markets.
Certain commodities are correlated with other assets, particularly currencies. Canada is one of the biggest exporters of oil to the US. So if oil is going up, you can place a binary option on the USD Canadian dollar to go down. Same goes for the Australian dollar and for gold. Australia is the world's third biggest exporter of gold, so a rising gold price has a predictably positive impact on the Australian dollar. Because many commodities are denominated in US dollars, a weaker dollar drives up demand and therefore drives up the price of oil. A binary options trader who understands this connection is in a position to profit. But who else does well when the price of oil goes up? Companies like Chevron and ExxonMobil. So an up binary option on the share price of oil companies is an excellent correlated trade. The best way to start trading commodities in binary options is to practice. Open a demo account and you follow the news. See if you can start making the connections. When you are confident in your ability to spot a cause and its effect on the commodity price, then you can start thinking about using your real live money account.
To profit from commodities, you have to follow world events and understand the butterfly effect they have on the price of assets like gold, oil, and corn. In times of volatility, when share price movements become difficult to predict, it's often a good strategy to turn your attention to the entire market. It's time to trade the indices. Welcome to Binary Options for Beginners.
It's much safer to trade indices in relation to particular sectors. So if you know a lot about technical stocks, then look at the NASDAQ because it's really filled with tech companies. It takes away a lot of the volatility because where one company may be not doing so well in that sector, the others will pick up. So it really spreads the risk across the entire sector as opposed to hedging all your bets on one particular company. It's a very good idea to have an understanding of the greater range of companies that are in a particular index, specifically if they are a very large company within that index. Again, we'll look at the NASDAQ and Apple. Apple actually make up 15% of the capitalization of that index. So even if the rest of the companies may be doing poorly, if Apple have a very good result, the NASDAQ will increase.
Indices allow investors to spread their risk across an entire market or sector. Their trading levels are insulated from the ups and downs of individual share prices and allow investors to focus on the trends.
Indices are very closely tied to market sectors and understanding within regional economies, which is why you have the Dow in the US, the DAX in Germany, or the FTSE in the UK. When the unemployment data for a particular country is negative, then it means more people are out of work and unable to buy product. When they can't buy product, the company can't sell the product. Therefore, the valuation of that company decreases and the index that is attached to decreases as well. There are many correlated trades that you can place when trading the indices, most specifically the currency that's tied to the particular indice that you're trading, and also, for instance, oil, especially with the American economy. If the Dow is increasing drastically, then there's going to be a greater requirement of oil consumption, not only to manufacture the product, but logistically to get it around the country, to get it in the hands of consumers. Indices are very closely tied to economic data and also general sentiment. So when you see CPI or the Consumer Price Index rise in an economy, you know that company or companies within that indices can actually sell their product at a higher price, therefore making them more profitable. So obviously their value increases and their position within the index increases, and then the index increases.
Trading indices as binary options requires study. Take a long view, research the companies in your index, and trade the trends. Psychology. Analyzing the markets and predicting the direction of a price movement is only one part of what makes a successful trader. Discipline and the ability to manage the stresses of trading are what separate great traders from the rest. Welcome to Binary Options for Beginners.
The most important thing when it comes to binary options trading psychology is that you must be disciplined. Find a strategy that works for you and stick to it. If you find yourself making trades based on hunches, if you're behaving impulsively, walk away and do something else for a while. Moderate levels of stress can actually make you a better trader. They'll keep you functioning at your peak. However, if you exceed your stress threshold, you're going to start making mistakes. Too much stress triggers overly defensive or overly aggressive behavior. It makes you reactive rather than proactive. So learn to recognize where your stress threshold is.
When trades go against you, keeping a lid on your emotions and maintaining a cool head can give you an unbeatable edge.
Okay, so you lost out on a trade. It went against you. The natural reaction is to double down on the next trade and try to make up for your losses immediately. This is a big mistake. You have to stick to your plan. The same goes for when you win. Don't get overconfident and try to ride your luck. Luck doesn't exist, your strategy does. A very simple way to keep your emotions in check is to strictly limit your exposure at any given time. I advise all my clients to have no more than 15% of their available capital in open trades at any given time. This can be made up of 3 separate positions of 5% of your capital. Sometimes you'll get things wrong. This is natural. It's going to happen from time to time. Just don't put yourself in a position in which you can wipe out your account. Like most traders, I use a combination of fundamental and technical analysis to inform my trading decision. However, the thing that sets me apart from the other 95% is psychology and knowing when to walk away from a trade.
Whatever your trading strategy, it is important to keep your nerve and stick to a game plan. Can a price movement really be predicted based on what happened in the past? Today, we're talking technical analysis. Welcome to Binary Options for Beginners.
Technical analysis is the practice of using past price patterns to identify trend reversals at a relatively early stage. Using that information, we can profit off the markets. Technical analysts themselves admit that there is no technical tool to determine any magnitude of any price movement. The tools they use only identify direction. This makes technical analysis perfect for binary options traders. Bollinger Bands are lines plotted 2 standard deviations above and below a simple moving average. Bollinger Bands have 2 main uses. 1, they provide a non-linear support and resistance levels, and 2, they alert traders to volatility. The further apart the bands, the more volatile the price. RSI stands for Relative Strength Index. It's a measure of recent gains and losses that show traders whether an asset has been overbought or oversold. RSI is measured on a scale from 0 to 100. When the RSI of an asset breaks 70, it has likely been overbought and is heading for a price reversal. An RSI of 30 or less indicates an asset has been undervalued recently. Good time to place an up binary options trade. MACD stands for Moving Average Convergence Divergence. MACD is a combination of 3 exponential moving averages, the 26-day, the 12-day, and the 9-day. In essence, this combined data creates a signal which traders can use to place an up or a down binary options trade.
Technical analysts move quickly. They spot the early signs of a trend, wait for confirmation, and ride the price line to profit.
While Bollinger Bands, RSI and MACD are excellent tools to allow you to enter trades at the best strike price, it is suicide to ignore fundamentals. No software can predict whether the head of the central bank will resign or not. Use technical analysis to refine your trades, not to define them.
Technical analysis can give you an edge, especially in the currency markets. But be warned, no line or candlestick can predict a change in monetary policy. For that, you're going to have to stick to the fundamentals. Fundamental analysis is the process of examining the real-world factors that affect currency pair exchange rates, share prices, and the value of commodities. It is also the #1 way to turn knowledge into profit. Welcome to Binary Options for Beginners.
Fundamental analysis is the process of determining the true value of tradable assets by examining the real-world factors that affect companies, industries, indices, and economies. These can be company earning reports, speeches by heads of central banks, or economic data releases, and so on. Whenever Ben Bernanke or Mario Draghi speak, you usually see immediate movement on the dollar or the euro. Actually, central bank chief speeches are excellent opportunities for binary options traders. If you know that the euro is trading too high, making Europe's exports too expensive for other countries to buy, you can be sure that Draghi's next speech will dampen optimism. You will actually be able to see the euro drop with every word he says. The monthly American Non-Farm Payroll Report, or NFP, is one of our biggest trading days here at Bank the Binary. Excluding farms and government workers, it's a measure of how many new jobs have been added or lost since the last report. Better than expected results show that more US companies are hiring and more people have salaries to spend on other goods and services. Obviously, a positive NFP leads to greater optimism in the US economy and the dollar gets stronger.
Big number, Betty. 236,000 jobs added last month. That's the best number we've seen since November.
Come on, come on, come on. Okay, go up. USDCHF up right now. Go for it, go for it, go for it. Did you place the USDCHF? Very good. Gold down next expiry. Awesome, 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 awesome. Awesome, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful event. Awesome event.
Some events hit the markets harder than others. Be patient and place your binary trades only when a price movement is both predictable and significant.
Few moments before an important data release, I put a call and a put option on the affected asset. One of the two is going to be out of the money. However, the one that's in the money will be in at the perfect strike price. I double up on that trade and I'm guaranteed 2 wins out of 3. Okay, let's take US building permits as an example. If the building permits issued this month are higher than the ones issued last month, we know that the US dollar is going to go up in value. If the US dollar goes up in value, we know because it's inversely correlated with gold that gold is going to go down. Based on this, we know that we can place 2 trades on one event.
With 24-hour global news and economic data released every day, fundamental analysis should be the keystone of your binary options trading strategy. Stay informed, make the connections, and strike quickly. Thanks for watching Binary Options for Beginners. May all your trades be in the money.